Hello student, I am Sangeeta Mansukhani. This is the video number 149. In this video, I will be explain topic solubility. Okay, so solubility of a substance is its maximum amount that can dissolve in a specified amount of solvent under specified condition. Solubility of a substance is its maximum amount that can be dissolved in a specified amount of solvent under specified conditions. So it depends on first nature of the solute, second one nature of the solvent, third one temperature, and fourth is pressure. Okay, so first we have discussed here solubility of solid in liquid. Okay, solid in liquid, that is means this way. Okay, solubility of solid in liquid. So solid are soluble in liquid if their intermolecular interaction are similar. Okay, so both have intermolecular interaction are similar, so solid are soluble in liquid. So solubility of solid in a liquid at any temperature is defined as the maximum amount of the solid in gram which can be dissolved in the 100 gram of the liquid solvent. So to form the saturated solution at particular temperature. Again I say the maximum amount of the solid solute in gram which can be dissolved in the 100 gram of the liquid solvent to form the saturated solution at that particular temperature. Okay, so terms related to the solubility. First one is dissolution. So dissolution, what is the dissolution? When a solid solute is added to the solvent, some solute dissolve and its concentration increase in the solution. So this process known as dissolution. Solid solute is added to the solvent, so some solute dissolve and its concentration increase. So it is known as dissolution. Second term related to the solubility, crystallization. Okay, so some solute particles in solution combine with each other and get separated out of the solution. Some solute particles in solution combine with each other and get separated out of the solution. So this process is known as crystallization. Third term related to the solubility, dynamic equilibrium. Dynamic equilibrium, that is means it is the condition when number of the solute particles going into the solution is equal to the solute particles separating out, and dissolution and crystallization process occurring at the same rate. So solute dissolve in the solvent, so convert into the solution, but concentration of the solute in the solution will be remain constant under the given pressure like temperature, pressure. Okay, so similarly process is followed when gases are dissolved in liquid solvent. Next, fourth is saturated solution. It is also related term related to the solubility of solid in gases. So saturated solution, that is means the process of the dissolution continues until the solution attains a certain maximum concentration. Okay, so if contain completely maximum concentration, so such a solution in which no more solute can be dissolved at the same temperature and pressure, so we have to say in saturated solution. And in saturated solution, a dynamic equilibrium gets established between the process of the dissolution and crystallization. Here you see solutes convert into the solute, react with the solvent and convert into the solution. So solute solvent convert into the solution by dissolution, and then solution again reconvert into the solute and solvent by crystallization. Fifth term is unsaturated solution. This term also related to the solubility. So unsaturated solution is one in which more solute can be dissolved without changing the temperature. Okay, which more solute can be dissolved without changing the temperature. Okay, so we have to say unsaturated solution. Then next topic is process of the solubility of a solid in a liquid. Process of the solubility of a solid in a liquid. So when solid solute is added continuously in solvent. So the solute keeps on dissolving and the concentration of the solution increase. So some solute particles in a solution get separated out of the solution by crystallization. So a stage is reached when the dissolution and crystallization process occurs at the same rate. So at this stage, number of the solute particles going into the solution will be equal to the solute particles separating out. So and it can be called that is state of the dynamic equilibrium. Again I say, what is the dynamic equilibrium? So number of the solute particles going into the solution will be equal to the solute particles separating out. Okay, so it is called state of the dynamic equilibrium. And at equilibrium no more solute can be dissolved. So saturated solution is obtained at the given condition of temperature and pressure. So the concentration of the solute in such a solution is its solubility. Okay, the concentration of the solute in such a solution is its solubility. Okay. Next topic is factors affecting the solubility of a solid in liquid. So solid in liquid, which factors? Two factors are effect. First, nature of the solute and solvent, and second, effect of temperature. First one is nature of the solute and solvent. So one concept is like dissolves like. That is means polar or ionic compounds dissolve in polar solvent like water and almost insoluble in non-polar solvents like benzene. Similarly, non-polar, covalent or organic compounds like naphthalene and anthracene are soluble in non-polar solvent like benzene and ether and are less soluble in polar solvent like water. So, solubility in the result of the three kinds of the interparticles interaction: solute-solute, solute-solvent and solvent-solvent interaction. So, there are three kinds of the interparticles interaction at which depend the solubility. Okay, so like dissolves like. Okay, polar dissolve in the polar solvent and non-polar dissolve in the non-polar solvent. Second factor is effect of the temperature. So whenever temperature increase, okay, because the solubility of a solid in a liquid is affected by the temperature change. So if a nearly saturated solution, so this solution process is endothermic, that is means enthalpy greater than 0, solution enthalpy, and solubility should increase with the rise in temperature. Okay, so this is the endothermic reaction. But if it is exothermic, that is means solution enthalpy less than 0, so solubility should decrease in the accordance with the Le Chatelier's principle. And Le Chatelier principle also observed by experimentally. Okay, according to this, pressure does not have any significant effect on solubility of solid and liquid because solid and liquid highly incompressible and practically remain unaffected by the pressure change. So pressure effect not affect the solubility. Okay, only there are two factors: nature of the solute and solvent, and second one is effect of temperature. Okay, so solid in the liquid I completely explained. Next, second one is gas in a liquid, solubility of a gas in liquid. So almost all gases are soluble in water to the different extent, but solubility of any gas in a particular liquid is depend on the volume, and volume of a gas in cubic center, cc cubic center, that can be dissolved in the unit volume, that is means 1 cc of the liquid to form the saturated solution at certain temperature and under a pressure of 1 atmosphere. So which factors affecting the solubility of a gas in a liquid? So there are three factors affecting the solubility of a gas in a liquid. So first one is nature of the gas, solute, and then second liquid, solvent. Okay, so nature of the gas, solute and liquid. So solubility of the different gases in the same solvent varies. Example, gases like hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, helium, and dissolve in water to a small extent, whereas the gases like ammonia, HCl, sulfur dioxide are highly soluble in water. Second effect of the temperature. The solubility of the gases decreases with increase in the temperature. That is means whenever increase the temperature, so solubility of the gas decrease. Okay, because gas related to the pressure, not with temperature. Okay, so when a gaseous solution is heated, so molecular motions of the gaseous particle increase. So some molecules escape out the solution. So this solution of the gas in liquid is exothermic process. So heat is evolved. So we have to apply Le-Chatelier principle. According to the Le-Chatelier principle, whenever increase the temperature, so solubility should be decreased. So gas solvent convert into the solution and heat also evolved. Okay, so equilibrium shift towards backward direction. Okay, then third factor is effect of the pressure, and this is the main topic, main factors related to the gas. So solubility of the gas increase whenever increase the pressure. So solubility of the gas directly proportional pressure. So the gas is compressed over the liquid under the high pressure. So solubility increase. See here, this is the solubility of the gas. So whenever we have to apply compressor, one W1 piston, here 3 piston given, W1, W2, W3. So effect of the pressure on the solubility of the gas. So concentration of the dissolved gas is proportional to the pressure applied above the solution. One pressure W1 by the 1 piston and pressure applied by the 3 piston. So here solubility of the gas is, here you see dotted, you see, that is means here solubility of the gas is increase. Okay, clear? So lower part is solution and upper part is gaseous. So at pressure Tp and temperature T, so this state of the dynamic equilibrium. Okay, so under this condition of gaseous particles entering and leaving the solution phase, whenever increase the pressure, so over the solution phase be compressing the gas to the smaller volume. So increase the number of the gaseous particles per unit volume over the solution, and also the rate at which the gaseous particles at the striking the surface of the solution to enter it. So the solubility of the gas will increase until a new equilibrium is reached, resulting it increase the pressure of the gas above the solution. So solubility increase. Okay, so for the explaining the solubility of the gas, the effect of the pressure on the solubility of the gas explained by the Henry. Okay, or Henry derived a relation between the solubility of the gas, okay, and pressure. So which law given by the Henry? Henry law. Okay, Henry was the first one to give a quantitative relation between the pressure and solubility of the gas. According to the Henry law, at a constant temperature, solubility of the gases in liquid is directly proportional to the partial pressure of the gas present above the surface of the liquid or solution. Okay, so here you see partial pressure of the gas in the vapor phase denoted by P proportional to the mole fraction X, okay, of the gas X in the solution. Henry law states that partial pressure of the gas in a vapor phase is proportional to the mole fraction of the gas X. Okay, so P directly proportional X. X whenever proportional mark remove. So KH, P is equal to KH dot X. KH is called Henry's law constant and KH is equal to 1 upon K dash. Okay, so KH is a Henry law constant. So graphical representation to the validate Henry's laws, whenever we have to draw the graph between the partial pressure and the mole fraction, so we have to found a straight line. Okay, so the slope of the line is the Henry laws constant. So if we draw a graph between the partial pressure against the mole fraction, so at a given temperature, so then a straight line passing through the origin is obtained as shown in this figure. Okay, so a straight line obtained. So Henry's law is applied to each gas independent of the presence of the other gases. Okay, one point you remember, different gases have different KH values. Different gases have different KH values at the temperature, same temperature. So suggest that KH is a function of the nature of the gas. So which gas, that is means its KH value also different. Okay. Next, significance of the Henry law. Significance of the Henry law equation is the P directly proportional X, that is means P is equal to KH dot X. P is the partial pressure of the gas in the vapor phase, K is the Henry constant and then Henry law constant, and X is the mole fraction. Okay, mole fraction of the gas. So significance is the concluded the higher the value of the KH, Henry law constant, at the particular pressure, so its solubility low. Okay, so KH values for the both nitrogen and oxygen increase with the increase of the temperature, indicated that the solubility of the gas in liquid decrease with increase of the temperature. So reverse flow. So reason that aquatic species are more comfortable in cold water rather than in warm water. Okay. Next topic is application of the Henry laws. So here there are 3 application given. So Henry laws find several application in industries way. So here explain biological phenomena. So first is in the production of the carbonated beverage. Okay, in the production of the carbonated beverage, whenever to increase the solubility of the carbon dioxide in soft drinks and soda water, so the bottle is sealed under the high pressure. So here Henry law apply. Okay, so whenever pressure applies, so solubility of the gas increase. Okay, so in the production of the carbonated beverage, the Henry law follow, that is means solubility of the gas in liquid increase. Okay, whenever pressure apply. Then second, in deep sea diving. In deep sea diving, scuba divers, that is means deep sea divers breathe air at high pressure underwater. So increased pressure increase the solubility of the atmospheric gases like nitrogen in blood. So whenever divers come towards surface, so the pressure gradually decrease, so resulting the release of the dissolved gases from the blood. So these leads to the formation of the bubbles of nitrogen in the blood. Okay, so which blocks capillaries and give rise to an ailment called bands or decompression sickness. Okay, it is called bands or decompression sickness. So to avoid the bands, the toxic effects of the high concentration of the nitrogen in the blood, so the tanks used by the scuba divers are filled with air diluted with helium 11.7%. With helium and 56.2% nitrogen and 32.1% oxygen. So scuba divers are filled with air diluted. Okay, so they fill their tanks by 11.7% helium, 56.2% nitrogen and 32.1% oxygen. Okay, because high percentage of the nitrogen in the blood create blocked capillaries. Okay, and it is say decompression sickness. Third application of the Henry law for people living at high altitudes or climbers. For people living at high altitudes or climbers, because at high altitudes the partial pressure of the oxygen is less than comparison than ground level. So this leads to the low concentration of the oxygen in the blood and tissue of people living at high altitudes or climbers. So they feel weak both physically and mentally. So these are the symptoms of a medical condition known as anoxia. Okay, so this is the also application of the Henry law. Okay, so whenever pressure we have to increase, so solubility of the gas also increase. Then limitation of the Henry law, it is the applicable only when first the pressure of the gas is not too high and temperature is not too low. Okay, second limitation, the gas should not undergo any chemical change. Third one, the gas should not undergo association or dissociation in the solution. So there are 3 points limitation of the Henry law. Next topic is vapor pressure. Vapor pressure, that is means pressure exerted by the vapors above the liquid. We have to say in the equilibrium way with the liquid at a given temperature is called vapor pressure. Again here you see vapor pressure of the liquid gas. This is the liquid and then upper side vapor. So pressure exerted by the vapors above the liquid surface in the equilibrium way. Okay, so with the liquid at a given temperature is called vapor pressure. So at the given temperature, pressure exerted by the vapors above the liquid, it is called vapor pressure. In other language, we have to say pressure exerted by the vapor molecules on the surface of the liquid in a jar at equilibrium is known as vapor pressure. Clear? Vapor pressure is affected by the nature and the temperature of the liquid. So affected by that is means here two factors, nature and the temperature. So in the nature way we have to describe about intermolecular forces. So weaker the intermolecular forces, that is means the greater the amount of the vapor, because easily bonding break. Okay, because more molecules can leave the liquid and come into the vapor phase. But whenever the temperature is raised, so the vapor pressure will also be increased, because with the increase the temperature, energy, kinetic energy of the molecules also increase, and more molecules break the bonding and leave the surface of the liquid and change into the vapor phase. So vapor pressure is affected by the nature and temperature. Weak intermolecular forces, that is means its vapor pressure increase. Okay, easily break the bond and more molecules can leave the liquid and come into the vapor phase. And also we have to increase the temperature, so intermolecular force easily break by the kinetic energy of the molecules increase, so easily break the bonds and more molecules leave the surface of the liquid and change into the vapor phase. Okay, then liquid solution are formed when solvent is liquid. Okay, so solute can be gas, liquid or solid. Clear? So solute may or may not be volatile. So depend on solute, may or may not be volatile. Clear? So solution containing two components are here, liquid in liquid and solid in liquid. Okay, so liquid in liquid and solid in liquid, there are two components contain solution. So vapor pressure of the liquid solution. First here discussed vapor pressure of the liquid solution. That is means in a binary solution we have to take two volatile liquids in a closed vessel. Okay, so both the components get evaporated and then finally a state of the equilibrium is established between the vapor and the liquid phase. Okay, so the total pressure of total vapor pressure in this case is equal to the sum of the partial pressure of the each of the two components. Okay, so total vapor pressure combination of the partial pressure of the each two components according to the Dalton law of the partial pressure, and these partial pressure are the related to the mole fraction of the two components. So here two terms are considered, partial pressure and then mole fraction. Okay, so further explained by the Raoult. Okay, so given by the Raoult law. So Raoult law, the French chemist Francois Marty Raoult, full name is Francois Marty Raoult, 1886, gave a quantitative relationship between the partial pressure and the mole fraction of the two components. Okay, so this relationship known as Raoult law. According to the Raoult, at a given temperature for a solution of the volatile liquid, that is means it is easily evaporate. So the partial vapor pressure of each component of the solution is directly proportional to the mole fraction in the solution. Okay, so vapor pressure directly proportional mole fraction according to the Raoult. So two volatile liquids, first and second, have mole fraction x1 and x2 and its pressure p1 and p2. Okay, so for component first, P1 is equal to directly proportional x1. So whenever proportional mark removed, so is equal to P1 dot. Constant, pressure constant, and then for second component P2 is equal to P2 dot x2. So according to the Dalton law of the partial pressure, the total pressure P total is equal to P1 plus P2. Okay, so value put here P1 and P2. P1 dot x1, P2 not x2. Okay, and we know x1 plus x2 is equal to 1, and we have to write x1 is equal to 1 minus x2. So we put the value x1 here. So P is equal to P1 naught x1 value 1 minus x2 plus P2 naught x2. So P is equal to P1 naught plus P2 naught minus P1 x2. Okay, then because we have to multiply P1 naught minus P1 naught x2, so common x2, so P2 naught minus P1. So this is the total pressure formula is equal to P is equal to P1 naught plus P2 naught minus P1 naught x2. So following conclusion from this equation: first, total pressure, vapor pressure over the solution can be related to the mole fraction. Second, total vapor pressure over the solution varies linearly with the mole fraction of the component 2. Third, total vapor pressure over the solution increase or decrease with increase the mole fraction of the components 1 depending upon the vapor pressure of the pure components 1 and 2. So there are three conclusions given. So Raoult given the graphical representation. So here you see this is the graph plot by the Raoult. Here you see vapor pressure and then mole fraction. Here you see a plot between the P1 and P2, okay, versus the mole fraction x1 and x2. Here both side we have to line linear plot. Okay, here for P1 and then P2. Okay, so x1 is equal to 1 and x2 is equal to 0, and here x1 is equal to 0 and x2 is equal to 1. So plot of the vapor pressure fraction of an ideal solution at constant temperature. Okay, so here you see this line is straight for the P1 and this is the P2, and P1 meet at the here x1 is equal to 1, so we indicate P1 naught, and then P2 indicate here, so here we do denoted P2 naught. This is the first line, second line, and this is the third, both combined P1 naught plus P2 naught. P total is equal to P1 plus P2. It is a total way, it is indicated by the third dash line. Okay, so first and second dash line and third is represented by line mark. Okay, so third line of the P total is equal to P1 plus P2. Clear? And here you see P1 is the less, clear, for the component 1, and P2 is the higher comparison for the component 2. Okay, clear? So the dashed line first and second represent the partial pressure of the components. Okay, so P1 directly proportional x1 and P2 directly proportional x2. So first and second pass through the point which x1 and x2 are equal to unity. Then total pressure represented by a given line mark third, and third P total is equal to versus x2 is a straight line. Okay, assuming P1 less than comparison than P2, component 1 is the less volatile comparison than 2. So then the minimum value of the P total is equal to P1 and maximum value is P2 naught. Okay, then after the composition of the vapor phase in equilibrium with the solution determine the partial pressure. If Y1 and Y2 are the mole fraction, okay, so for component 1 Y1 mole fraction, so formula Dalton-Lowes partial pressure is P1 is equal to Y1 P total and P2 is equal to Y2 total P total. So for a solution containing a number of the volatile components for any component I, so formula is Pi is equal to Yi dot P total. Total pressure, partial pressure, and I for the partial pressure for the liquid for any component I, and is equal to Yi is equal to mole fraction. Okay. So Raoult law as a special case of the Henry law. According to the Raoult law, the vapor pressure of the volatile component in a given solution is given by is equal to Pi is equal to Xi Pi naught. Okay, but if in the solution of the gas in a liquid way, so the volatile components exit as a gas and then according to the Henry law, P is equal to KHX. Okay, so partial pressure of the volatile component is directly proportional to the mole fraction. So main basic concept is clear from the Raoult law and the main from the Henry law. Okay, so Raoult law Pi is equal to Xi Pi naught, and then Henry law P is equal to KHX. So partial pressure of the volatile component is directly proportional to the mole fraction of that component of the solution. So therefore Raoult and Henry laws become identical except that their proportionality constant. KH is Henry law constant and Pi not constant for Raoult law. Okay, so are different. So Raoult's law becomes a special case of the Henry law in which KH becomes equal to the Pi naught. So this is the main similarities way. Okay, so only for difference in the proportionally constant. Okay, KH denoted in Henry law and then Pi naught constant denoted in Raoult law. Okay, clear? Next topic I will be explaining in the next video. Thank you so much.